Altered State Adventures. The Secret of Europa. Part 6. Majoro Entertainment Complex. Moon, Europa. System, Sol. The Bunty gently descended over the entertainment complex that was to be their rendezvous point, and as it did so, Tin, beneath a heavy frown, cast a rather skeptic eye over the establishment. Jesus Christ, what the hell is this place, Apollo?
It's quite a popular holiday destination, actually, Tin. Winter sports and all that.
What's that? Skiing and sliding and all that nonsense?
Yeah, you should try it sometime.
What, bloody skiing?
No, having fun.
Ha! I get plenty of fun, sunshine. Don't you worry about that. Within minutes of the Bunty landing, the crew had made their way down the excessively long walkway and entered the colourful, neon-lit bar. The complex seemed relatively empty.
Maybe it's off-season, eh?
Yeah, maybe. Or maybe this place is shit.
How can I help you, gentlemen?
Said the bartender, his long fingers already reaching for tall glasses and cocktail umbrellas. A couple of pints would be lovely, mate. The bartender turned away with a grimace. He seemed visibly disappointed to be serving such bland drinks in such a place, and he returned the cocktail umbrellas to their holder. Above them all, another news flash took over the overhanging projection screens that adorned the small square island construction that formed the bar.
Informed that there have been recent reports that several locations in the Van Maanen star system have been raided, including the Sublime Order headquarters. But as yet, no sign of a suspected terrorist. Several members of the Order have been taken into custody and questioned, with all stating that they have nothing to do with the unnamed leader of what they call a separatist terror cell. As of now, the hunt for this man continues. In other news, the local farmball league...
The men sat down at a corner table, their eyes constantly shifting, always scanning for anyone they may have upset in the past, or any member of authority they may have already crossed in a prior adventure. They saw neither. So, do you like all this stuff then, Al? Rather partial to skiing, are you? Apollo decided to relax, at least for a moment.
Not really, but I find it beneficial to keep an interest in all things. You never know who you can get talking to, and how they can help you out in the future.
Yeah. What are you getting at, Al? Said Emo with decided interest.
Well, you see, the reason we landed here is because I know a guy who can help us out. He doesn't live here, he's based over in Haberland Survey. But we crossed paths once when I decided to get some skiing lessons.
You what?
Listen, it's a valuable skill to have. You never know when you're going to need it.
Right, okay. So what's this guy got for us then?
Well, due to his profession in the surveying business, his company own, or rather they did own, a rather nifty little submersible and some personal underwater breathing apparatus that we can borrow.
Oh, I see. Okay then. And why are we at this delightful establishment?
Well, the reason we're meeting here is because it's neutral ground for him. Obviously, he doesn't want to be trading with us over at the survey, does he? And this place is as good as any for a nondescript meeting of potential shadiness.
Trading, you say?
Well, I had to make it worth his while, didn't I? I mean, like I said, I don't really know the guy too well, but I made him a decent offer. Don't worry, it's not out of the joint pot, it's my personal credits.
Aha. Well, that's just dandy then. Why didn't you just start off with that, eh?
Yeah, I know, Emo. I haven't quite worked out the location yet,
said Apollo, looking down at his pendant.
Yeah, I haven't figured that out either, okay? I mean, what the hell does that mean to you? Beneath the scars the bubble lies, beware to pierce with these 3 eyes. Absolute nonsense is what it is. I hate riddles.
And as the gentlemen became lost in thought and banter, they had all failed to notice the man that had approached their table. The man briefly hesitated, not wanting to break their stride, but then said, Apollo. Apollo's head snapped toward the visitor, and his hand immediately reached for his holstered weapon as fright filled his soul. How could he have been trapped so easily? But his senses were soon relieved when he recognized the face.
Oh, crikey. Sorry about that, Will. You snuck up on us there.
The man looked over his shoulder before whispering, sorry, I got the goods out back.
Ah, perfect. All good to go then,
said Apollo, prompting his crew to finish their drinks. My name's Tin, and this is Emo. Good to meet you,
Will.
My name's Will Turner.
Ah, right, I see. The legendary engineer, aren't you?
Oh, heavens no, that's my brother Bill.
Right. But William's usually shortened to Bill, isn't it?
Yeah, I've never quite known why. But anyway, he's Bill and I'm Will.
Right then. Will.
Will stood patiently for a while before asking, So, what is it you're looking for?
Oh, we can't say, I'm afraid.
No, it's top secret government business.
Yeah, something like that.
A magical place under the sea.
Yeah, okay, Tin, that's enough, please.
Oh yeah, right. Top secret and all that.
William took the hint, but felt compelled to offer some advice. Listen, if you're looking for something weird, you might like to know that we've been surveying this place for some time now. Somehow, a stroke of luck, I guess, we picked up these very strange signals from deep under the ice. We were gonna send some people down there, but things cost money, and that takes a while, you know.
Huh, that is interesting. When was this?
About a year ago now. We're still monitoring it from the surface, but as yet nobody's been down there.
Well, maybe, funnily enough, that could be exactly what we're after.
Tin!
Sorry!
So whereabouts is this anomaly then?
Oh, it's quite a ways away, nigh on the other side of the moon. But I know the coordinates if you want them. The submersible was significantly heavier than expected, and even though it had been wheeled off the back of William's ship and lifted into the cargo bay of the Bunty, mainly due to the sheer strength of Emo, it was still debatable how they were going to get the thing back up once deployed. But that was a problem for the future. Right now, they were heading to the given coordinates. William suspected that the signals had penetrated the ice due to the area falling victim of recent geological shifting. The cracks in the ice here were fresher than most, deeper than many, and relatively weak in terms of thickness. The Bunty came to a hover amidst the erupting geysers that lined the nearby surface. The water vapors rose in a tantalizing display of glistening beads that drifted away aimlessly into the darkness beyond.
Okay then, Sunshine. What's the plan again? Because, just for the record, this seems crazy to me.
Oh, it's crazy for sure, but I can't think of any other way.
So we just shoot a bloody hole in the ice?
We have enough dumbfire missiles to blast a hole right through. How else are we going to do it?
But won't it just heal over again immediately, given that we're in space and all that?
Most likely, but the heat will keep it open for a while. And don't forget, we're programming the missiles for the same time as we drop, so we should be hitting straight after.
Right. So we all sit in that small tin can and drop from the cargo bay, while simultaneously firing several missiles at the crack in the surface, and hope that it all times so perfectly that the missiles hit just before we arrive and fall through the hole into the sodding water.
That is exactly right,
said Apollo, shifting his crew out of the cockpit and toward the cargo bay.
No bloody way, Sunshine. This is bloody ludicrous is what it is. Yeah, exactly, Emo. Have you thought of that, Al, huh? We're not going to fall very fast on Europa with only bloody 0.13 G.
Even as they bickered, the crew, on autopilot, had begun to change into their Artemis spacesuits as they stood next to the submarine.
Don't worry about that. I've done the calculations. It'll be fine. Maybe.
Jesus pissing Christ.
Look, just shut your moaning, Tin, and let's get to it. William already told us that his survey team have been peeling away the layers at this site for nearly a year. Okay? They're constantly monitoring it. There's probably already dangerously thin ice down there. Just frozen enough that they can still walk over it and operate their sampling devices. And look, Emo's raring to go.
Tin submissively dropped his shoulders with a heavy sigh. Ugh. And with that, the crew entered the submersible and Apollo readied for launch. Within the blurred and misty landscape of the distant horizon, hovering just above the surface, eyes were watching. Eyes that had been laser-focused upon their target since he had finally caught up with him after Mars. Hal Selvin tingled with excitement as he stalked his prey, always in the vapors, always just out of sight, yet always within pouncing proximity. Silently, albeit rather confused, he waited, he watched, and he readied for what may come next. Only this time, he was not alone. In the cramped confines of the submersible, the trio sat, all leaning against each other, all incredibly uncomfortable and all filled with utter dread and anxiety of what was about to happen.
Okay,
Said Apollo, fiddling with the dials and controls of his suit's arm-mounted computer.
everyone ready?
No.
Okay. Let's do it.
And with that, Apollo activated the chain reaction that would with utmost hope and considerable luck lead them to penetrating the moon of Europa. A bone-shattering metallic clunk rocked the submersible as the cargo doors opened, and the small cylindrical tube began to fall through the cold, thin atmosphere, slowly at first, but gathering speed. What seemed like only moments later, a volley of explosions followed, each one signifying another successfully launched missile, each one increasing the amount of perspiration that seemed to now flow freely down their bodies. An eerie moment of silence followed as each member of the submersible prayed to their respectful gods before their world was once again rocked by several more explosions. These, much louder than before, as the missiles impacted the surface and blew a hole right through the ice. The shockwave violently enveloped the submarine like turbulence on a plane, while the water below furiously bubbled and immediately began to set in the below freezing temperatures. But just before it did so, and only moments before Tin would have lost control of his bowels, the submersible hit the slush. The crushing impact felt like it broke every bone in their bodies as they were flung around in their seats.
Taking damage.
The ice scratching against the metal walls of the submarine was spine-tinglingly loud and progressively filled their souls with impending doom, their hearts threatening to break free from their chest plates in order to escape their bodies. But then, silence. As their ears adjusted to this new serene volume, the unmistakable sound of falling through water could be heard. Distant calls of an unknown species, the close proximity of rupturing bubbles, and the pleasing sound of their hearts growing softer. They had successfully entered the hidden waters of Europa's great ocean. Apollo quickly activated his suit's computer and dismissed the Phantom. It would be safer in orbit. And only now did they dare to turn on the external viewing camera, and as the screen flickered into life, the image before them was one of total blackness. No seabed could be seen from this depth, only the occasional specks of dust and microorganisms floating by. The darkness held a purity that was only matched by space itself. But this space contained a treasure, a very distant and almost imperceptible glow coming from the lower depths, several leagues below them. No one said a word, but a mutual admiration and awe filled the cabin as Tin grabbed hold of the controls and tilted the nose downward. Whatever it was that was glowing was the light that drew them closer, deeper. Whatever it was that was down there was surely where they needed to be. And whatever it was that was down there was now waiting for them.